On to the next one. When Sonic does multiplayer.
Smell that, Tails? That's the smell of cooperative adventure!
Yo, is Tails
Well,
good?
anyways, let's go!
Oh my god!
I don't think I need to tell you what multiplayer is, and if I do, make sure to hit that like, comment, and subscribe button, hit that bell!
Go make me a sandwich!
The Sonic the Hedgehog franchise has had many attempts at a multiplayer mode of some kind through the years. And no, I'm not talking about
True.
party games or racing games, because, yeah, you kinda need those in those types of games. That's kind of the point of them. A single-player racing game would just look like...
Hello?
True.
Well, more accurately, in Crossroads' case, it'd be like... You get it? Because Crossroads has no voices. I'm talking about the mainline Sonic games that squeeze some sort of multiplayer mode in there. And this goes all the way back to the early
wish they
90s,
did
starting
have
with Sonic
voices.
the Hedgehog 2. I wouldn't say Sonic invented this concept, but it's one of the first cases of a platformer having a full-on multiplayer mode. Mario Brothers had this, but it's an arcade game from the 80s. Most of those focused on two players battling it out. Later down the road, we had Super Mario Brothers, which would have a multiplayer mode, but you kind of just swap the controllers around. But for Sonic, pop two controllers in and you get the exact same game, but the second player gets to play as Tails for like maybe a half a second at a time. Nor can he break monitors or really do anything except be a meat shield for Sonic or an annoying piece of shit in the special stages. Oh yeah, and he can't fly. You doing alright there, Tails?
I mean, yeah,
you
but
look a
those
little
are
different,
mods.
like your debut game treated you
Those
like dirt.
In,
Tails?
You know.
Tails! We do have one saving grace here
Those
with the
aren't an
split screen
actual game.
versus mode, and oh my fuck. I don't know how they thought this looked good or felt good, but sure, dude. Whatever, man. Sonic 3 pretty much has the same thing, only this time around it's a bit more refined. For the standard campaign mode, Tails can actually fly around for a bit, and since the stages are more open, it can be kind of fun to look for all the giant rings with the second player flying around with you. The versus mode, though, actually has some new stages to run through. I don't get it. They made the split screen better, but I still don't get it. I think it's like a 5-lap race, and whoever gets through them wins, but it's just so generic. This barely counts as level design. Honestly, I actually had a little bit more fun with 2's multiplayer, simply for the fact that they were full-on stages. I'll just rope Sonic Mania into this as well. It's the exact same shtick as 2 and 3. You can play as Tails, but the camera doesn't honestly give a fuck. And the versus mode is just a better version of 2's. I'm gonna be real, the only thing that gives the classics a highlight here if it's multiplayer is that they not only were the first cases of multiplayer in a Sonic game, but they were also just some of the first split-screen styled multiplayer in platforming history. Doesn't make it good though, but hey, you know what? What do I think? I still think Atlantis Square Panthers is a good game 20 years later. Also, just to stick it in there, the advanced games had the exact same thing. I know technically I shouldn't be talking about this till after Heroes, but if you had a gun to my head and told me to make a whole section about how the Game Boy Advance's link cable allowed for 4 players to have their own cameras, well, pull the trigger, Piglet, I'm ready. Nah, this joke just kind of feels a little cheap, doesn't it? I mean, we've done the whole gun thing, like, how many times by now? Rush had multiplayer as well, same as the others. Rush Adventure, Pocket Adventure, Colors DS. It's all the exact same stuff, so those are just more of an honorable mention. Knuckles Chaotix stands out though, because the whole point of the game is you being tethered with your partner, so having 2 players control it makes a lot of sense. In terms of more notable multiplayer modes though, after Sonic 3, it wouldn't be until Sonic Adventure 2 where we got to see this concept become more refined. I mean, sure, there were games like Mean Bean Machine and Mean Bean Machine that had multiplayer, but that's a given. Adventure 1 had multiplayer of some sorts, but it was just the Sonic 2 thing again. Player 2 controls Tails every half a second because the camera just doesn't want to work on them. But Sonic Adventure 2 is where we really step up the game here. Adventure 2's multiplayer mode is probably the most iconic mode in the video. It pretty much just takes the versus play from 2 and 3 and innovates the hell out of it. For the record, I'm gonna combine the battle modes from Adventure 2 and Adventure 2 Battle here, so let's get into the categories real quick. You got Speed Races, which is pretty much just
ready, set, go!
Oh my god!
Power Races.
Sense it in my feet.
I found it.
It's mine!
And the mech fights, which typically always just go,
Stand your ground, soldier! This is the fight we've been training for!
What the fuck is going on with my life?
Oh, yeah, there's also kart racing. It's
Kart
pretty much just
racing.
Mario Kart, but with the worst controls in the world. So every time you turn, you just...
Oh my god.
I really like these modes. They're insanely fleshed out for a simple side mode, usually. Stages are more condensed, and there's even some brand new ones to spice things up a bit. There's more characters you can play as, like Metal Sonic, Amy, the Chow, corpses. All your favorites. This style of multiplayer stays consistent with the next few Sonic games, as it returns in Sonic Heroes with its...
Oh my goodness!
Oh my
7
god.
whole modes. Granted, they are
Oh
just
my
different parts of the
God.
game split into multiplayer modes. Action races are short remixed stages where you race against the player, pretty much just like the races from SA2, only this time there's no character-specific moves. You just get the Team Blast. They're harmless enough. Battle mode, which puts you and the second player into a boss arena, it's pretty much just like the Heroes boss fights, but you can control the rival team. Special stages.
Oh,
Shit, I feel like I'm gonna puke! Ring race is a variation of the normal races. However, instead of reaching to the goal, you have to get a certain amount of rings before your opponent does. Bobsled races. Sure, man, I guess. I actually think these are the most fun to play. It is sure as shit better than the kart races in SA2. Quick race. I wonder. And Expert Race, which is just a whole stage from the base game. I like the variety here for sure, but the modes themselves just feel very rushed. To be fair, it is Sonic Heroes, so that actually kind of makes a lot of sense. You know what would have been actually cool? Making the story mode multiplayer. You got 3 characters already, just pop 2 extra controllers in and let us solve shit together. Which, to my knowledge, is actually what the next game does. Who knows, maybe it'll actually be fun this time, and fuck, it's Shadow the
Oh,
Hedgehog.
no.
The next game
What?
is Shadow the Hedgehog. Shadow the
Oh,
Hedgehog has
Shadow,
2
yeah.
multiplayer modes. During the story mode, the second player can control whatever character that follows alongside Shadow, just like SA1. It works a little better here because the game itself is a lot more focused on combat than speed, so you actually do get a little something out of it. Not much else to say. The main meat of the multiplayer is its battle mode. Instead of racing like every other game, you battle to the death as Shadow and Shadow, and that's it.
Wow.
It's incredibly bare bones. No extra
Well-
modes or anything, it's just 2 shadows shooting at each other. It's okay though, because the next game actually brings back different modes in the form of, oh fucking god damn it, Sonic 06
Sonic
has
06.
2 multiplayer modes. We went from 7 to 2. I'll never take you for granted ever again, Sonic Heroes. Oh wait, yes I will.
Damn!
For the battle races, it's the standard stuff we've been seeing. And for the new tag team mode, you and a friend traverse through a whole series of levels together, which usually means one just stands around until the other catches up. So most of the time it usually just goes a little something like...
That was snoozing, bro.
It's pretty much how you expect it to be broken. It is very easy to just glitch the fuck out of the game or bypass the puzzles entirely. Just gotta climb up this way casually and boom, shortcut. I will say though,
Yep.
it's probably the most fun I've had in this entire catalog, simply because of how easy it is to break. It's the easiest shit in the world just to bypass everything or clip through walls or just go double speed
True.
because you can. It's Sonic 06. If you
Really?
can think
You
it, you can
double
probably
speed?
do it. Or just get soft locked while your team member does all the work. In terms of like actual versus modes or races or anything, we wouldn't see another one of those for a long while. The next 2 games, Secret Rings and Black Knight, have really out of nowhere multiplayer modes. I guess their overall gameplay doesn't fit very well with a versus mode, even though that actually might be really fun for Secret Rings. Instead of that though, we get brand new modes entirely. For Secret Rings, it's Mario Party. Nothing else to say.
Yes.
Mario
it's
Party.
just
However,
Mario
Black
Party.
Knight just has a bunch of different battle modes. Why aren't they talking about them in detail? You know how fucking hard it is getting people to play these with me? Sonic Colors has a very unique twist on multiplayer with its game land. They're pretty much the special stages of the game. You unlock a bunch of bonus levels by collecting red rings in the main stages, and you get 7 zones with 3 acts each. You can play these single player, but the multiplayer is where you can have the most fun. It's very simple to be honest, but honestly, it's one of the better working multiplayer modes in the series. Personally, I think the Boost game's level design fits best for a versus mode or something, and Colors is the only Boost game to do it. But even then, it's just a bunch of extra levels. It was pretty cool seeing some level layouts from
Fair.
Sonic 1, 2, and even Sonic Unleashed. There's not much to it other than that, though. There's no rules or incentive to finish the level first, or a versus, or anything, to be honest. You both just kind of fuck around until the level ends. But it's alright, though, because Sonic Generations gives us what we're looking for. A whole versus mode where you get to run through all the levels together. On the 3DS.
What?
Only
What?
on 3DS.
All the
is
HD versions of
crazy.
Generations got were these leaderboards
Nah.
and beating your friends on time attack levels. The 3DS version, however, has a full versus mode where you and a friend can race throughout all the levels together. It's mildly entertaining at best for me. The coolest thing about them are the points and card patterns you can unlock, as well as all the extra content in the collection room and the extra missions. Also, apparently you can get special skills for the base game, which it's kind of cool. I can't really back it up though because it's pretty much impossible for me to play this mode. I guess the Street Pass stuff kind of counts as well, but you unlock extra missions by linking up with your Street Pass friends. Your profile card gets updated as well with the more Street Passes you get. I mean, it's cool and all, but come on, man. Generations HD could have had such a cool multiplayer mode. Who cares if both players were just modern Sonic? Just put the Sonic Simulator skins over them and you're golden. Cut away to Sonic 4 now. Yay! I don't know how they manage this, but the multiplayer of Sonic 4 Episode 2 is actually pretty solid. I think as a game, while Episode 2 isn't nearly as good as the classics, it's still a pretty fun game overall. And to be honest, the multiplayer is one of the best ways to play the game in my opinion. You still share the same screen, but it treats both Sonic and Tails equally. It can even be pretty fun being competitive against each other, especially during the special stages. There's not really much to go into. I like that you can choose to swap between Sonic and Tails per level, but other than that, yeah, it works pretty well, I'd say. Probably the best multiplayer mode a classic Sonic game can have. Lost World is just the same shit we've seen before, but on a Wii U, so moving on. I'm so tired of talking about Lost World.
I hate Lost Worlds.
Sonic Boom is, definitely a video game. A video game with multiplayer, to be exact. I'm getting about 15 frames here. The main multiplayer stuff is just kind of the Black Knight thing again. You got 3 different modes that are completely original from the base game. An arena that shoves a bunch of enemies in your face, the last one standing wins. Obstacle courses where you gotta race to the finish. And Collector Ball. Collector Ball. At its best, it's, kind of entertaining, and at its worst, it's Sonic fucking Boom. What did you expect? It took us like 15 minutes trying to figure out how to start the damn matches.
I swear to God, I swear to... Oh, we did it! We did it!
What
We did it!
on the character
We're in.
select? What the fuck?
You have to press down on the character. Oh, for fuck.
So, a Shattered Crystal, for some reason, skipped out on the multiplayer, but they kind of just decided Fire and Ice shouldn't. You play as all these different bots that have these unique stats, and you can upgrade them and whatnot to have better advantages in the races. That's really the only interesting thing about this multiplayer mode. It's just races and nothing more. I guess they wanted people to invest a lot of time into the upgrades and whatnot, but again, it's Sonic fucking Boom. And after that, it wouldn't be a good couple years until we'd see any kind of multiplayer mode again in a Sonic game. I mean, yeah, Mania had it, but as I said, it's the exact same thing as all the other classic games. Forces skipped out on it, Frontier skipped out on it, although I will say there's an insanely cool mod that makes the game work with full online multiplayer. Never played it though, because, I'm lonely. However, that brings us now to the last game on the list, Sonic Superstars, a game that aimed to take multiplayer in a Sonic game more seriously, with Sonic co-creator Naoto Oshima and his team Arzes collaborating with Sonic Team, as they were set out to expand the original classic Sonic gameplay style with 4 whole characters traveling through the levels together. Think of it like New Super Mario Bros. Wii, but for Sonic. I mean, it was one of the biggest selling points of the game, playing throughout the whole game with up to 3 friends, as well as a competitive battle mode. Well, shit, this sounds like the best multiplayer in Sonic yet. You're telling me we're getting a multiplayer mode that isn't an afterthought? Holy shit! It was bad. Like really bad. Probably the worst one yet, to be honest. On its own, I think I'm starting to tolerate Superstars more. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as the classic games, but it's pretty fun to put on from time to time to just run through levels. The multiplayer mode, though? This is horrible. There are many problems here. For starters, the level design doesn't fit with the amount of players it wants. When it's 2 players, it actually, kind of works decent. Not as good as Sonic 4, but it works. But when you got all 4 players, it just feels so cramped. New Super Mario Bros. Multiplayer worked because the levels were more spacious, so all 4 players could have room to breathe and fuck around with each other. But here, it's just normal classic Sonic level design, but with a bunch of bullshit added. Also, the camera just never knows who to follow. You're constantly going off screen, despawning just to hit a button button to respawn, all for the same shit to happen again immediately. Again, it works better for Mario because Mario's a much slower game. All the characters are pretty much the same, so it's insanely casual friendly. Sonic is like the complete opposite, so naturally you can't just do what Mario did and call it a day. If it was like a 4-player split screen thing like Mania or something like Sonic 4 where it's only 2 players working together, I think it would be much better. Also, it's not online. Look, I can excuse most of these games not having online because they're pretty damn old. But Superstars? This is a $60 video game from 2023. How do you not offer online co-op despite advertising co-op as its biggest thing? And it's even more baffling when you find out that the battle modes have online. The battle mode is... well, it's something. Players can create and personalize Metal Fighters using parts from the main game shop. You can make some pretty cool things as well, like Metal Sonic, Metal Knuckles, a brand new Metal Tails and Amy, and even a Knights robot. Honestly, it's pretty fun customizing these things. They even appear sometimes in the main game. But the main thing about these bots is that you play as them in various events in the battle mode. There's races, last one standing, collecting as many stars as possible, and trying to reach the highest score. It's very mindless, but I don't know, it's not the worst thing in the world. Good luck trying to play this though, because this game is fucking dead. Not gonna lie, I feel like this list kind of ended off on a sour note. So, you know what? For the sake of it, whatever. I'm gonna rank all of these from worst to best, aside from, like, adventure, because it was worth, like, a sentence of importance. At the bottom of the list, we have Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, followed by Superstars, Black Knight, Sonic 3, Sonic 2, Fire and Ice, Lost World Wii U and 3DS, Gen's 3DS, Heroes, Chaotix, Mania, all 3 advanced games, Secret Rings, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic Colors, Sonic 4 Episode 2, Sonic Adventure 2, and lastly, Sonic 06. Purely for how fun it is to break the game. I think Adventure 2 had the most consistent multiplayer mode of all the games, and it's a really fun one at that. And Sonic 4 was just the first and kind of only time they handled cooperative multiplayer well in a 2D game. Shadow and Colors go slightly below these purely for the fact that they were just kind of fun, but incredibly mindless and half-assed. Boom being at the very bottom of the list simply because it's the most generic a multiplayer mode can be for Sonic. Like, yeah, it can be kind of entertaining for a little bit, but this is like the video game version of Jingling Keys. Superstars is so low because it just doesn't work properly at all for a game that made its whole marketing about the multiplayer, and Black Knight is just kind of boring. At the end of the day though, it was kind of fun playing through all these. Having fun with friends, experiencing things I've never played before. It's probably the most fun I've had making a video. I really hope they never stop trying to include multiplayer in these games. In the right hands, it can be insanely fun to fuck around in. However, may we have a moment of silence for the fallen brethren that were forced to bear through these games with me.
Oh no.
So, how they all die?
They, played too many Sonic games.
You got a lot of problems, don't you?